Let me hit that DrBotBud question. The question is, how often do you binge watch shows, friends? How often do you binge watch shows? Is it a weekly routine? A daily routine? How often do you binge watch the same shows? So you watch them and then you just start over and watch them again. Liang says, I miss binge watching. Binge watching is fun. My ass gets a little sore after a few hours, like 4. I got to get up and move around. I got to stretch out my ass. This is what I do when I stretch out my ass. I'm like, come on, ass. Come on, ass. Whoa, don't take that out of context. Phrasing. Phrasing. Miss Nightwitch says, a little too often. Well, what shows are you binge watching? I mean, I think that's also the big one. You know, I because I got a little bit of holiday time and I'm relaxing. I'm trying to rest. Work on animation stuff. Try not to be yawning at 8 p.m., 8:30 at night. But I recently reconnected with *Halt and Catch Fire*. It's on Netflix as well now. I think it's originally an AMC show. I don't know. I think they might only have 3 seasons, but so I just got done watching season 2, and I'd watched most of it. I was like, did I watch all this? I watched it like in a fever years ago, not in a bad fever, just in a rush. It was like late night or something like that. So I recently just started binge watching that in the last 2 days. Just one more show. And then I realized I'd seen most of season 2. I saw probably all of season 2. So now I'm watching season 3. But it's relatively short, 12 episodes, I think. Dauntless Queen says, I binge watch once a month, but it depends if there's a good series that is worthy to binge watch for. That's pretty good. Miss Nightwitch, good to see you, by the way. Center says, I binge watch the DBK stream. That counts, right? Like multiple hours of content. And Center, the Wicked Center, I love you. Oh, I love you so much. Binge watching. Hanging out with DBK, binge watching with Rowan Zay. Everyone put your hands up. Loki's not gonna play. Bite your finger, eat it up. Taking off, steal your cup. Zay says, as often as a really good show that catches my attention comes on. The last time I binge watched was probably last year. Now I binge watch The Long Dark and The Sims 4 on YouTube every day, but I'm not actively watching that stuff all the time. I don't absorb all the content they're putting out. It's a lot of content too. Jermison says, I binge watch from time to time, only when I'm not streaming or working. Yeah, well, you gotta find the time for it. I discovered binge watching. I think I really discovered binge watching. Here's a question. What was the first series you binge watched? I'm pretty sure the first series I binge watched was The Sopranos. I came into it, I don't know, I came to it around 3rd season. And at that point, I had I had 2 roommates and we were living the dream. And that was one of our house ceremonies. We watched 2-3 episodes at a time, sometimes 4. And then we got to do that for weeks on end because, you know, you're catching up, right? So that was like a good 6 weeks, 8 weeks of content, something like that. And we do that a couple times a week. Sometimes we just do it and then take a break and then do the next. But I think that was the first series I actually binge watched. I don't know if that's really true. That's probably not entirely true. Yeah, that was probably true because then I went back after I moved out of that place. I got caught up on Stargate SG-1. I never really thought it was anything. And then my friend was like, he was really into it. Like he couldn't wait for the next season. They were already 7 seasons out. So I was like, oh shit. I love when you find something that someone loves and then you eat it all up. I really enjoyed the series, by the way, at the end of the day. All the Stargates for the most part. Atlantis also was good. And then same thing. Next Generation. I may have binge watched that before that, but I don't think so. I think I binge watched it also. I mean, Netflix made it a whole different thing, right? Like to binge watch something. So, Alex says, I don't really binge watch this past few weeks. I'm more into reading recently. Ooh, you've got that bug. Elrock is really into crime novels. Oven says, it's rare that I do it, but maybe once every 3 months, and I do it normally when a particular series that I watch completes a new season. I started from the first season up to the current. Oh shit! So if a season I watch completes the 8th season, it would be 8 times I watched the first season going to the latest. Whoa, Evan. Well, that's a fun rule. Senator says, I tried to watch Walking Dead, but I found it boring after 3rd season. I found it boring and stupid and a bit redundant in the 1st season, and that really put a bad taste in my mouth. They just write classic horror tropes, you know, like, oh, someone fell down in the well. Oh, let me go down and check. Oh, it's full of zombies. Who would have ever figured out that was the case? Oh, no, I'm dead. That's kind of how the tone was. I hear it gets better. Like it gets much better after like 5th season. But yeah. Pandemonium, I love your face. Dauntless says, I first binge watched CSI series or any crime scene series my dad and sisters watch, so I just go along with them. Yeah, I like that TV is also a place of, you know, of community. I love cuddling with my sweetness, like, you know, and just watching, you know, watching TV sometimes. I don't do it as much as I like, but the good news is that when you choose not to do something for a while, then stuff builds up in that category, movies, TV series, you know, and then you come back to it, and then, you know, like you have a nice body of work to enjoy. Zay says, I did watch Game of Thrones. I also read it. Dude, that's awesome. I did binge watch, well, Game of Thrones. I would wait for the season to be done, and then my son would journey down to see his father, Azores, and then we would binge watch over 2 days the season of Game of Thrones. And now we don't have anything to binge watch. We can always find stuff, right? But it was a nice crutch. But I think we wound up our like, let's meet and spend time together. Annie with our last adventure to Wine Country.